something amazing could potentially be happening in the Supreme Court. This is a huge game changer, specifically when it comes to our Second Amendment rights, specifically when it comes to really the entire Constitution, because of a simple case that took place in the 80s under the Reagan administration. It was a victory for Reagan, which was the Chevron versus EPA case. Now, ultimately what this was there were essentially rules being passed by the EPA, and the Reagan administration argued that they should be able to pass those rules and that those rules should be as if they are law. And the Supreme Court, it was a big win. And we are staring at that right now. Like, that's how the ATF gets away with doing what they do. That's exactly how they get away with doing what they do, is they pass rules and then they just somehow become law, like just magically become law because I passed a rule, new rule. And anytime there's a change in administration, guess what? There's new rules. And this does not cease or stop regardless of who is in office. Now, this is a big deal right now because the Supreme Court is going to decide if this case should be of historical legal text, meaning if something like this comes up in the future, that you can't sit there and look at this case and say, well, according to historical law, this thing, they're essentially going to strike that down as even being valid at all, potentially. Now, when it comes to conservative-leaning Supreme Court justices, they're more on the side of we need to limit federal agencies. There's kind of this out-of-control effort. And to be quite honest, most of the cases they see have something to do with federal agencies breaking laws and breaking constitutional laws. So it really will limit what they see as well, because they see it all the time, year after year, dozens of cases having to do with the FBI, the ATF, the EPA, you can go on, the railroad board. You can go on and on and on and on and on and on about the different alphabet agencies that are just making up rules and then essentially treating them as if they're laws. And that's what we're staring at right now with the ATF when it comes to the Second Amendment. So this is really a great thing, I believe, generally speaking, when it comes to Second Amendment related things. I used to say, good job, Supreme Court. Lately, especially with the Illinois thing and a lot of the gun bans being upheld by the Supreme Court, that is not okay. And so I'm a little nervous about what they will decide. I think in the end, they know that if they say that becomes historic text, legal text, that, what an administration could do with these federal agencies, they're already militarizing them. It just gives them the freedom to do whatever they want with those federal agencies. And according to the Supreme Court, it would just be law. But what I do know is that is on the chopping block for sure. Whether or not they will swing the axe, I don't know. I'm going to say 60-40. I believe there's a 60% chance they swing that axe and say that is not law. And then that's going to greatly limit, not right away. Of course, once we saw the Second Amendment Kerry case last year, it's like our Second Amendment rights are worse now. So, but at least it's there, and at least it's being noticed by the Supreme Court. And I believe that there'll be moments when certain individuals will be standing in court defending themselves to like the FBI or the ATF, and they'll win because of the chopping block if the Supreme Court swings that axe. So there you go. Any thoughts or insights you might have on the Chevron case and kind of how it might affect these alphabet agencies, definitely put it below. Take a moment, say most people watch this channel, if they're not subscribers, hit that subscribe button. It's free, greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.